Hey, Dustin Vanoy here, and I'm super excited to announce Databricks AI Dev Kit. This is probably the worst kept secret I have ever been involved with, but I am finally ready to announce to the world what all my colleagues and others have been sharing on LinkedIn the past couple weeks, which is we've been working on something really exciting, and we, in this case, is field engineering, which means this isn't a officially supported Databricks product with like public preview and GA and all of that. This is something that falls into more of a solution accelerator, but it is open public code that you can take, you can leverage, and I will tell you why I think this is so exciting and powerful for you. The goal here with Databricks AI Dev Kit is to really give you superpowers for AI-driven development on Databricks. That if that term AI-driven development sounds weird to you, you don't know what I mean, go check out the other video I just released, and it will talk about why I use that term for things that might also be called vibe coding, context engineering, vibe engineering, yada, 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 AI coding, tools in the mix with whatever you're building. And obviously in this case, these tools are meant to help you leverage Databricks throughout the development process and end up with code and artifacts that get deployed and run on Databricks. All right, that's the goal here. That's the purpose of this project. So let's talk a little more about what's going on here. So what we have is a set of components which you bring your own AI coding tool. We really built this because we've had people both within field engineering at Databricks and customers that we interact with asking, hey, I've been using Claude Code or Cursor or insert other tool here that uses AI heavily, and it doesn't always get it right working on Databricks. And our response was, yes, we know. And so obviously, there are things happening that's on the officially supported product side, and some of those things are available, like the managed MCP servers I've talked about. You've probably seen that we have a variety of ways of taking the Databricks Assistant, which has been around for a little while, using AI to help you out, and flip it into agent mode, and that really gives you a lot of capabilities on certain contexts within the workspace, depending on what you're building. And sort of the coverage of that is being built out and tested really thoroughly, and we'll actually go through like public preview process and all of that stuff. This is meant for either those building from outside the Databricks workspace to have some capabilities you can use, whether it's by using skills and the things we've put in this repository, or by when we do the typical install, if you install everything, we will get skills and things from other repositories that are going to be the right place to get it long term. So for example, MLflow skills are actually getting installed when you run the typical install. And those are not in AI Dev Kit necessarily, but those are open source skills that we can install as part of this process so that you don't have to jump all over the place. That's the concept here. So let's talk about the actual components that you'll find in this repository. So what we've got is probably the thing I'm most excited about, which is the agent skills. And these are best practices for building on Databricks. So I've talked about skills in a prior video, but just realize you can plug these things in and get a lot of capabilities and point your LLM, your tool into the right direction without having to add stuff to every prompt. The better your prompt is, I think the more success you're going to have with or without these tools. Let's just be real about that. But these are supposed to automatically get detected as much as possible and fill in the gaps that your LLM that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting, the thinking here, doesn't know. So I like to also call out that there is an MCP server, and some of these skills really do call out use of this MCP server that's included. Some of them I've been using without the MCP server installed. I go back and forth on my setup because I do a lot of different things. So MCP server is meant to go along with it. The way we typically have this set up is we've got a run server command that gets configured for you during the install, if you install everything like I'm talking about, and you would run it locally essentially. So each developer, let's say if you got a team of 10 developers, they could just have this MCP server running on their machine, authenticating through Databricks Unified Authentication. The skills will typically try and get to using a Databricks profile, which is part of our Databricks Unified Authentication. So that if you want to use OAuth, or if you force OAuth in your organization, that's kind of all handled by however people are already connecting to Databricks. That's the concept here. Now, beyond that MCP server, really foundationally underneath the MCP server is a set of Python tools. These are a bunch of functions that are really meant to abstract away things that the SDK and other capabilities of Databricks can do. So the idea is that we needed to give some capabilities to the LLM to really make these skills as powerful as they can be. And so that's where the MCP server comes in. I will tell you that this is a very field engineering community driven effort. So there's like 20 plus contributors already. We'll probably try to reduce the amount of different functions and focus on higher level functions as we go, and look for ways that if the CLI is configured correctly, which is basically a requirement for this project, that it can also leverage that rather than going through the SDK when you're going to get a better result in the end. So just expect this to keep changing as we go. That's sort of the nature of these accelerator projects that Databricks field engineering will do for you. And now, last but not least is the Databricks Builder app. So if you do not want to run Claude Code or Cursor locally, if you want something deployed as an app within your Databricks workspace that multiple people can come in and use a chat type interface to build with, this would connect to model serving and be able to do a lot of agentic coding for you with all of these powerful skills in MCP server that we've talked about. So before I keep talking about these in a little bit more detail, please do go try this out by checking it out from GitHub. And we've got a quick start of instructions that you can follow for your coding tool of choice. So the other thing I want to call out is please follow your organization's policies related to AI tools, LLM. So this is skills in MCP server to plug into whatever you're already using. So make sure whatever you're using is approved. And if there need to be additional guardrails and things that is set up on your end, this is meant to give this capability to whatever you're already using, okay? In addition, I want to call out that you should check out the license. This is sort of as is support. We have GitHub issues we're already responding to and working through. We've got quite a few features and things we're doing right now, but you can report GitHub issues and we'll take the most problematic ones and deal with them as quick as we can as we support this. So the other thing to call out related to the AI policies is that Databricks Free Edition is a great way to go and try this out with. You can simulate data using our synthetic data generation skill or your tool of choice or example data set of choice. Put it in your free edition and go do things there where you don't have a risk of exposing anything or deleting anyone else's resources, right? So the idea is that you'll be running this, whether you're using the app or locally, you'll be running this as yourself. So whatever permissions you have in the workspace are the permissions that you're letting your agent have while it does this work. It should prompt you very often about, do you want to execute SQL? Do you want to do this? But let's be real. A lot of us at times are just trying to get through something and we don't read super thoroughly the Python code it wants to run, or sometimes even the SQL statement it wants to run. So please make sure that you're doing this in an environment where you're paying attention to the important pieces and not going out and doing things that Unity Catalog allows you to do, but you normally wouldn't do because it's not really your table to delete and those sorts of things. All right. Okay. I might give you a few more warnings, but I'll try to focus on the capabilities here because this really is an exciting set of tools that I've been using a lot. Though to be honest, I've been using these a lot to kind of test and build out this dev kit because I found this need as I was starting to get into AI development on Databricks, and I wanted to essentially partner with other people and solve as much as we can. Okay, I want to go into a little more detail on AI Dev Kit for you. So the skills are essentially the concept of adding a bunch of context to the LLM's knowledge, right? So you're going to think of it like if I were able to just download a course and all of a sudden my brain knows the best practices and sort of expert guidance, that's the concept here. Of course, the brain, the LLM in this case, has to use it, and that's always a bit of something to pay attention to. Is it actually using the skill? And then consider, is it using all of the skill? And that's something we're trying to test a lot as we keep improving this. And so things to think about with this is that skills are super simple and they are LLM agnostic. We can install them under the Claude folder for Claude and Cursor to work with. We can install them under the agents folder. Let us know if there's another spot where they're not working for you, and we'll try to support more different LLMs and different tools for you. They are customizable. You can go and make changes to them once installed. Just keep in mind, we don't have like a merge process for you. If you go and want to take all the improvements we're hoping to make over the next few months, we don't have a way to install that and merge with whatever changes you make. That'll be something you can choose to do and set up on your side. And with the help of agents, it shouldn't be that hard to figure it out. Yeah, they are easy to review. You can review the markdown. You can see the code snippets and the skills really easily and know exactly what they're doing. They are really essentially a skill .md file. MD is a markdown file. You've probably worked with these as you're doing GitHub and other things, doing just a README for your repositories. And so there's a markdown file that's the main file, and sometimes that's all that's there for the skill. Other times we have additional markdown files that we add in and give references to and try to, tell the skill, hey, go use this when you get into this part of the process, right? And then you can have example scripts. A lot of times these are .py files that you'll see in a scripts folder. We'll probably move more things out of Markdown into these files as we just make sure we can evaluate that it doesn't hurt the performance of skills we've already been using. The MCP server, then, think about these as functions. These are functions that extend what our coding agent and what our LLM can do. They extend the capabilities. And so for AI Dev Kit, these really are a wrapper, intentionally a wrapper over the tools library. There's not a lot of additional logic in the MCP server itself. It's just making these functions available for the LLM. So essentially, running this MCP server lets whatever LLM you choose take advantage of these additional functions. And a lot of times these skills actually reference out to these functions to have the capabilities that are ultimately need to happen once you have the knowledge of the right way to do something. All right. And so the Builder app is super exciting. This is a simple agent interface to your model endpoint. And so it's going to let you go into kind of a chatbot mode, tell it what you want to build, and it's going to work through your model serving in Databricks to go out and it's going to have Lakebase spun up with it to go out and build these things for you, all from one sort of app, one sort of portal to do this, right? And so this is if you do not want an external client like a Claude Code or Cursor. If you already have something you're using, a client that you're comfortable with, and each person has their own thing, I would say just run the MCP server locally, plug these tools in, but take a look at the Builder app and see if it helps fit a need that you have. And then this is likely to be deployed as a Databricks app. That's how it's designed. If you're going to go deploy it other places, please pay attention to, just making sure that networking and things like that are locked down. We've only been deploying this and using it from within a Databricks workspace where we have things fairly isolated, okay? So here's a quick look at the Builder app. It's basically what I said it was. I hope I described it well. You have some decisions at the top about what you're working with. We gave it a prompt, and now we can see it came back with some guidance and some answers. Not just answers though, it is actually going and building things for us. You could probably guess if you've ever touched an LLM, this video is sped up. It is a GIF showing what is possible, but that's the idea. That's what the app provides you. So please do try it out today. Make sure within your organization's AI policies, Databricks Solutions /AI Dev Kit is its path once you get to github.com. And then I recommend trying it with Databricks Free Edition first. Make sure you are in an isolated spot where you can't do any deletions or anything. And then pay attention to what the tool is doing. If you have permissions in the environment you'll be working in to delete things that aren't yours, you better pay attention to what this is doing, because this is still using an LLM to do a lot of decisions, and you've probably experienced that in the past, right? But you are meant to log in with your Databricks profile, which should be your credentials. So it should only have access to the things that you have access to. And hopefully you aren't using this in production in a place where you're allowed to delete all the important production stuff, right? That's my thought. All right. And then quick start to get installed, follow it, find that in the README. We're trying to keep it really simple for you, and we have some interactive prompting throughout the script we'll give you. And it works for Claude Code and Cursor. People have been using it or installing it for Codex and Copilot, and we'll be looking if we find that installing for those sorts of tools isn't sufficient for another one that's popular. As things are brought up to us multiple times, we'll try to add those in too. So you can go and log GitHub issues if you've got a great idea. We are not really open to outside contributions. You're welcome to reach out to whoever you're connected to at Databricks and talk to them about working together on something. But primarily, we're trying to keep this Databricks field engineering driven. That way we can align in things internally, which is a much simpler process to get things ready and out the door quickly for you. All right. Are you as excited as I am? I hope so. So go check this out. Hopefully this was a good starting point for you to experiment with and learn by working with it. Please subscribe to this channel if you want to hear more updates about things I build with this capability and with other sorts of Databricks related products, and with apparently AI coding tools seems to be a big part of what I'll be doing for a little while here. All right. Thank you. See you next time.